Good morning, I'm Maha Siddiqui. You're with NDTV. The big story this morning, the residence of the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi is being raided by the Central Bureau of Investigation, the CBI. Raids are underway at 21 locations in 7 states and union territories, including Manish Sisodia's official residence. This is a probe into the alleged corruption in the new excise policy of the Delhi government, which was then withdrawn. The Delhi Lieutenant Governor had sought the CBI investigation into the matter. Now, reacting to the CBI raids on his deputy, Manish Sisodia, over Delhi government's now withdrawn policy on liquor sale, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that the action is welcome and they will fully cooperate, but express confidence that nothing is going to come out of it. Kejriwal said the raids come on a day when the Delhi education model was praised and Manish Sisodia's picture was printed on the front page of America's largest newspaper, New York Times. Let's quickly listen in to this reporter from Sharad Sharma, who's right outside Manish Sisodia's residence.
देखिए, मथुरा रोड पर ये AB 17 नंबर है जो मनीष सिसोदिया का घर है। यहाँ पर अभी CBI सुबह यहाँ पर पहुंची थी और यहाँ की आपको तस्वीरें दिखाता हूँ। ये देखिए, ये है मनीष सिसोदिया का घर और जब CBI रेड चलती है तो कोई भी आवाजाही जो है उस दौरान नहीं चलती है और फिलहाल यहाँ पर एक तरह का सन्नाटा दिखाई दे रहा है। संभव है कि अंदर जो है CBI के अधिकारी हों और इसीलिए जो है कोई भी आवाजाही जो है आमतौर पर जो इस समय यहाँ पर होती है, क्योंकि सुबह के समय से ही लोगों का आना जाना उप मुख्यमंत्री के घर पर शुरू हो जाता है। तो अभी फिलहाल किसी भी तरह की आवाजाही जो है यहाँ पर नहीं दिखाई दे रही है। इसके अलावा मनीष सिसोदिया के घर के अलावा जो तत्कालीन एक्साइज कमिश्नर थे उनको भी उनके घर पर भी इस समय CBI की रेड चल रही है। तो कुल 21 जगहों पर बताया जा रहा है कि CBI रेड कर रही है और आरोप, जैसा कि हमने पहले बताया, ये देखिए, ये उप मुख्यमंत्री गाड़ी है जो आज घर से बाहर नहीं निकली है क्योंकि इस समय पर रेड चल रही है और उप मुख्यमंत्री बाहर नहीं निकल सकते हैं जब तक कि ये पूछताछ पूरी ना हो जाए, जब तक कि CBI आज की अपनी कार्रवाई खत्म ना कर ले, तब तक ये जो गाड़ी है जो मनीष सिसोदिया की या जो खुद मनीष सिसोदिया हैं वो उनको आज घर पे ही रहना होगा और तब तक वो फिलहाल किसी से बात नहीं कर सकते हैं।
सवाल यह है, मिला क्या? अब तक किसी केस में अगर कुछ मिला हो तो ये बताएं। जब छापा पड़ता है, CBI जाती है, हर जगह खबर चलती है, हर जगह सवाल उठते हैं, BJP वालों को मौका मिल जाता है भ्रष्टाचारी कहने का, मगर निकलता कुछ नहीं है। आज देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा दिन था। अमेरिका के सबसे बड़े अखबार न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में फ्रंट पेज पे, पहले पन्ने पे भारत देश के दिल्ली शहर के शिक्षा मॉडल की चर्चा हुई है। उसके अंदर मनीष सिसोदिया जी का एक फोटो छपा है पहले पेज पे और पूरे देश के, पूरी दुनिया के भारतीयों के अंदर इतनी अच्छी फीलिंग है कि आज देश का नाम अमेरिका के अंदर रोशन हो रहा है। और देश में क्या हो रहा है? प्रधानमंत्री जी, उसी शिक्षा मंत्री जिसकी शिक्षा का डंका पूरे संसार में बज रहा है, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उस शिक्षा मंत्री के घर CBI भेज दी है, उसके यहाँ छापा मारा। ये बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। भ्रष्टाचार की बात भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज पूरे दिन करेगी क्योंकि छापा मारा ही इसलिए जाता है। सवाल ये उठता है, गुजरात के अंदर शराबबंदी है, सैकड़ों लोग जहरीली नकली शराब से मर रहे हैं। गुजरात के हर गांव के अंदर और हर शहर के अंदर फोन करो, शराब उपलब्ध है। इतना बड़ा नेटवर्क चल रहा है। आपने कभी सुना कि CBI और ED की जांच हो रही हो, छापे पड़े हो? नहीं होगी, क्योंकि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग हैं। गुजरात के अंदर 20,000 करोड़ की ड्रग्स पकड़ी गई और अभी कुछ हजार करोड़ की अभी कुछ दिन पहले पकड़ी गई है। क्या किसी के घर CBI की रेड पड़ी या ED की जांच हुई? 20,000 करोड़ की ड्रग्स थी? नहीं हुई, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग हैं। अभी मोदी जी ने, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बुंदेलखंड एक्सप्रेस की शुरुआत खुद करी, उन्होंने उसका उद्घाटन किया। 5 दिन बाद एक्सप्रेस वे गिर गया। उसके अंदर कोई छापा पड़ा CBI का? नहीं पड़ा। व्यापम घोटाले के अंदर तो पत्रकारों तक की हत्या कर दी गई, उसमें कोई छापा पड़ा? कहीं पे CBI की रेड हुई हो? नहीं हुई। ये जो CBI है, जो ED है, जो इनकम टैक्स है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ विपक्ष और अरविंद केजरीवाल के पीछे है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये बात जानती है, पूरी दुनिया के अंदर अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के शिक्षा मॉडल और स्वास्थ्य मॉडल की चर्चा है। शानदार स्कूलों की चर्चा है, एजुकेशन की चर्चा है, वर्ल्ड क्लास मोहल्ला क्लिनिक्स की चर्चा है, अस्पतालों की चर्चा है, मुफ्त इलाज, मुफ्त टेस्ट, मुफ्त दवाइयों की चर्चा पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है। तो पहले स्वास्थ्य मंत्री को जेल के अंदर डाला गया, अब शिक्षा मंत्री को जेल में डालेंगे, क्योंकि समस्या प्रधानमंत्री महोदय को दिल्ली के स्वास्थ्य और शिक्षा मॉडल से है, समस्या अरविंद केजरीवाल के दिल्ली मॉडल से है, और ये चीजें चलती रहेंगी। हम इनसे डरने वाले नहीं हैं, हम इनसे घबराने वाले नहीं हैं। जितनी जांच बिठानी है, जितनी रेड करनी है, प्रधानमंत्री जी कर लें।
That is Aam Aadmi Party MLA Saurabh Bharadwaj. They're hitting out at the BJP, saying that this is not a battle where the BJP is looking at hitting the Aam Aadmi Party over corruption, but they are scared of the healthcare and educational model steps that have been taken by the Aam Aadmi Party, the government in Delhi, and that is why this vendetta politics is at play. Let's quickly listen in to what the BJP has been saying. Let's listen in to Anurag Thakur.
भ्रष्टाचारी जितना मर्जी ईमानदारी का चोला पहन ले, वह भ्रष्टाचारी ही रहता है। और आम आदमी पार्टी का भ्रष्टाचार एक बार नहीं कई बार देखने को सामने आया है। आज मुद्दा है शराब के ठेकों का, शराब के ठेकों में हुए भ्रष्टाचार का, और इस विभाग के मंत्री हैं मनीष सिसोदिया जी। जिस दिन सीबीआई को जांच दी, उसी दिन शराब नीति को वापस लिया। अगर शराब नीति में कोई घोटाला नहीं था तो उसको वापस क्यों लिया? क्योंकि शराब के ठेकों में भ्रष्टाचार हुआ, शराब के ठेकों में दिल्ली में भयंकर भ्रष्टाचार हुआ। अरविंद केजरीवाल और मनीष सिसोदिया की सांठगांठ सामने आई, इसीलिए शराब नीति को वापस लिया। सीबीआई और जांच की डर अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को मजबूर करती है ट्वीट करने पर कि ये शिक्षा नहीं, ये शराब की बात हो रही है और आम आदमी पार्टी के शराब के ठेकों में हुए भ्रष्टाचार की बात हो रही है।
Let me go across to our two guests joining us here on the show. Vijay Jolly of the BJP, Jasmine Shah of the Aam Aadmi Party. Jasmine, coming first to you, would you want to respond to what Anurag Thakur has said, questioning why was the liquor policy withdrawn if there was no corruption?
I think the facts of the liquor policy are all out in the public domain. It was one of the finest policies that was, put into implementation, mind you, after the approval of Lieutenant Governor, who is the constitutional head in Delhi. But BJP, there is an entire scheme to make sure that no legal liquor is sold in Delhi, because just like they've done in Gujarat, you keep hearing about hundreds of people dying because of illicit liquor. If the BJP and Prime Minister Modi were very keen about stemming any corruption in liquor, the first raid that they should have been doing was in Gujarat. 10,000 crores of drugs have been caught in Gujarat, but no CBI and ED raid. And interestingly, the day the New York Times, US's most reputed paper, talks about the success of CM Kejriwal's education model in Delhi, a few days after he has launched Make India One Mission, Prime Minister Modi sent CBI as a way to congratulate Mr. Kejriwal and Sisodia that we agree that you're doing something spectacular, but we will not let India progress. We will make sure that just like in the past 150 cases, CBI, ED, this is not the first time CBI and ED are visiting Mr. Sisodia. It has happened many times in the past. What has happened of these raids? Will they answer about that? No.
Vijay Jolly, the allegation against the BJP is that this is vendetta politics at play from the LG's office to the central agencies. They are all being used as a tool by the government to target the opposition leaders.
It is all the falsehood. It is all a mere eyewash of the Delhi Aam Aadmi Party government, which through its new liquor policy, which was announced on 16th November 2021, whereby opening up approximately 850 new private liquor vends all over the capital, and the booze being available next door, which was grossly opposed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. And if they are talking about the Lieutenant Governor's office, I wish to remind my esteemed friend from the Aam Aadmi Party, it is the same Lieutenant Governor's office which had demanded a CBI probe into this new liquor policy, which was
That is the reason, sir. That is the reason the allegation is being leveled. That the Lieutenant Governor's office is being used by the BJP, like the central agencies.
You see, I wish to state very particularly why and how did the Delhi government suddenly announce on 30th of July 2022, the Delhi government switches back to the old policy, whereby under the old policy, only the government-owned liquor vends.
Jasmine Shah, if there was no problem with the liquor policy, that is the repeated question being asked by the BJP. Vijay Jolly, I'll come back to you. Why was it withdrawn?
There is deep-rooted
It's a very important question. Let me answer that.
Party's handling of this whole issue.
All right, Vijay Jolly, just hold on, sir, to your thoughts.
This money has been used in the Punjab election.
Just hold on to your thoughts, sir.
Does not talk about
the next question then would be, is the BJP smarting under the defeat in Punjab, if that is the allegation you level? But we will ask that question again to Jasmine Shah. Let him first answer the question about why was the policy withdrawn, which is repeatedly being asked by the BJP.
No, it's a very important question. It is important the viewers understand it, that in the old liquor policy in Delhi, around 850 shops were supposed to be opened. What the BJP through its authorities did, they started threatening all the private shop owners that we will put raid, we will do all kinds of things. They started threatening excise department officials. As a result, as of end of July, only 450 shops were open in Delhi. Delhi was going through almost a Gujarat-like prohibition phase because BJP never let the old policy implement. So that is the reason, to ensure that there is no complete prohibition, to ensure that there are no deaths due to illicit liquor, which are happening almost every month in Gujarat, for a temporary measure until we can get a consensus on the new excise policy. That is the reason the policy was rolled back. Let us not paint it and walk over the fact that you have not showing any seriousness about all the things that are happening in Gujarat. Just a few days back in Bundelkhand, your expressway caved in after spending 5,000 crores. PM Modi inaugurated it. Have you ever ordered any EDI raids or investigation against those contractors, against your own ministers? So it's very clear. PM Modi is not interested in fighting corruption. He is interested in fighting Mr. Kejriwal and the rising graph of Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay.
People across the country are appreciating health and education. Today, nobody questions health and education. Good work is happening in India, in Delhi. But Prime Minister Modi cannot tolerate it, and that is the only reason why CBI and ED raids have been happening on AAP.
All right, let me also bring in Alka Lamba of the Congress Party. Alka Lamba, first of all, your reaction to these raids that are being conducted against the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister.
देखिए, हम इस रेट का स्वागत करते हैं क्योंकि भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस का मानना है कि बिल्कुल आम आदमी पार्टी की इस नई आबकारी नीति में भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है और इस भ्रष्टाचार को दिल्ली के मुख्य सचिव ने पकड़ा है। 144 करोड़ का इसमें जो है भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है। दिल्ली के मुख्य सचिव की रिपोर्ट के आधार पर दिल्ली के एलजी ने इस भ्रष्टाचार की जांच सीबीआई को सौंपी है। हम तो इंतजार कर रहे थे। अब अरविंद केजरीवाल जी और मनीष सिसोदिया जी बच्चों का भविष्य बनाने की बात कर रहे हैं। अरे हम शिक्षा नीति में भ्रष्टाचार नहीं पकड़ रहे, हम आपकी आबकारी नीति में भ्रष्टाचार पकड़ा जा रहा है और बच्चों का भविष्य एक शराब की बोतल के साथ एक शराब की बोतल फ्री देकर आप भविष्य बना रहे थे। आप शराब पीने की उम्र को 25 से घटाकर 21 करके आप भविष्य बना रहे थे। आप हर गली मोहल्ले में शराब की दुकानें नीति और नियम को ताक में रखकर खोल रहे थे। महिलाएं विरोध कर रही थी तो महिला मार्शल से पिटवाकर आप इसका भविष्य बना रहे थे। तो मुझे लगता है विक्टिम कार्ड छोड़िए, अब सामना करना होगा क्योंकि हमने भी सबूत दिए हैं। हमें मालूम है पंजाब के चुनावों में कैसे लोगों को लाभ पहुंचाने के लिए ये लाइसेंस दिए गए। लाइसेंस रद्द जब हुए तो फीस जब्त होनी थी, सरकारी खजाने में जानी थी। आपने करोड़ों रुपए की फीस माफ कर दी, वो पैसा गया कहां? ये सीबीआई जांच में सामने आएगा। आपके सत्येंद्र जैन जी को 2 महीने से ईडी ने जेल में बिठाया हुआ है। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कांग्रेस की तरह सड़कों पर क्यों नहीं उतर रहे? अगर आपको लगता है पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा है। केजरीवाल मानते हैं सत्येंद्र जैन दिल्ली के स्वास्थ्य मंत्री हो, पंजाब के स्वास्थ्य मंत्री हो, जेल में सही बैठे हुए, इसलिए आम आदमी पार्टी और उसका कार्यकर्ता अभी तक सड़कों पर नहीं उतरा है। और जहां तक मनीष जी की बात है, उनका कहना है बच्चों का भविष्य बनाया, मैं कट्टर ईमानदार हूं, है ना। वो कल शिमला में थे, पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री को भी काम छुड़ा के थे, है ना। तो आप दिल्ली छोड़ कर भाग रहे हैं, लेकिन आप सीबीआई की आपकी नीति वापस क्यों लेनी पड़ी? दिल्ली ये पूछना चाहती है। अगर वो ईमानदारी वाली थी, वो लाभकारी थी, तो आपको क्या मजबूरी थी? आपने सीबीआई की जांच के डर से वापस ले लिया। और शीला दीक्षित जी की 15 साल पुरानी,
ठीक है,
तो
अलका लांबा जी, आपने 2-3 सवाल पूछ लिए हैं। आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू स्टे ऑन द फोन लाइन विद अस. लेट जैस्मिन शाह रिस्पॉन्ड टू दोस. Jasmine, one question and one allegation rather being leveled both by the BJP and the Congress party here is that this was a connect between the liquor policy and the profits from it being utilized in the Punjab elections.
You know, it is strange that BJP is not an opposition party. They are in power. They have all the agencies at their disposal. And how many raids have you put on our Aam Aadmi Party ministers in the last 7 years? Mr. Jolly is smiling, but he knows that there are each and every minister, including Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's house, has been raided. Tell me how many times it has any conviction has resulted out of it? Zero. So it is very clear that these are nothing but empty allegations. CBI has today become CBH, Central Bureau of Harassment. And this harassment is being targeted because Prime Minister Modi cannot stand good work in Delhi being appreciated on a global platform. Today, we should be celebrating that New York Times, for the first time in the history of independent India, has spoke about government schools, something good happening in Delhi's government schools. But no, we will welcome this kind of an appreciation.
No, but Jasmine, the question about corruption is being asked of the Aam Aadmi Party because the plank, the entire party was formed was an anti-corruption movement. I think that is why the party is more answerable than anyone else if there are allegations of corruption.
Absolutely. Please, we are saying that why just Mr. Sisodia? Please send CBI at everybody's homes. Make sure that in Gujarat never CBI is sent. Make sure in Uttar Pradesh no CBI or ED is sent. Please send all the investigations.
All right, Vijay Jolly, that again, Jasmine Shah has raised this the second time over, that we've recently seen a case of spurious liquor in Gujarat that resulted in several deaths. Why aren't these matters being investigated when Gujarat is a dry state?
Well, you see, no one has stopped Aam Aadmi Party. They are only raising this bogey of Gujarat, because Gujarat elections are due in another 6 months. They're not talking about Punjab.
The lives of people don't matter.
Please let me speak, Mr. Jasmine. I did not interject while you were speaking.
Go ahead. He's saying, do lives not matter? Is it only about elections and polls?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party, which came on the plank of removing liquor and nasha and drugs from Punjab. Today, one of their own ministers of the Punjab government was caught and was forced to resign on corruption charges. In Delhi, their so-called health minister, Mr. Jain, who is now pretending that he has lost his mental balance, he is still in the judicial and the court directed custody. Now again, a liquor policy which they bought in the capital, and they are only harping on the education model. I wish to tell your viewers, it is Manoj Tiwari, the Member of Parliament, who has alleged on record one classroom of a Delhi government school made at a cost of more than 50 lakh of rupees. You tell me, if I construct a small room in my own home, it would not cost me more than 5 lakh of rupees. This is the corruption which is manifest with the Aam Aadmi Party. And my pertinent question is, why did overnight the Delhi government, which was harping on a new excise policy whereby liquor was available in every hook and nook of the capital, was overnight on 30th July suddenly again stated by Mr. Manish Sisodia, Delhi government.
But Vijay Jolly, I'm afraid, sir, you still haven't answered the question Jasmine Shah is asking. He is saying that a similar yardstick needs to be used. If there was a problem in the liquor policy of the Delhi government and you believe there was corruption and a CBI raid is on at the moment, then
who is stopping them? Who is stopping them on approaching the ED, the CBI or the court? Now, please listen to me what I'm saying and don't interject in between. Who is stopping the Aam Aadmi Party government of raising this people's issue in Gujarat? Because the Gujarat elections are 6 months down the line. They are not talking about Punjab. They are only talking about Gujarat. This is all a hearsay. This is all a tactics
Sir,
to
how
remove
is it
the
a
public
hearsay?
attention.
People died drinking spurious liquor in Gujarat. It's not hearsay,
Who
sir.
has
It's
stopped-
factual.
Who has stopped NDTV from initiating a probe? Who has stopped Aam Aadmi Party initiating a probe into the Gujarat
Aam Aadmi
liquor
Party will initiate
huge
a CBI
tragedy?
probe.
Today, the question is, what is
You want
happening
Aam
in
Aadmi
the
Party to
capital?
initiate?
The Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi government
Jolly,
is accused of
CBI
corruption.
and ED come under the central government. Let me remind you, central
I
government is
would
under Prime Minister
compliment the
Modi.
ED
And if
and
we
the
bothered
CBI
about
and the
lives of
anti-corruption
people in
department
Gujarat,
officials who
by
are
now
upholding
many
the
kingpins
rule of
of
the
the
law.
liquor mafia in
Don't
Gujarat would have
degrade
been under
them.
jail.
Don't degrade
10,000
them.
crores
Don't
of drugs
degrade them.
have been caught in Gujarat in the
These
Mundra
are the
port.
same
What have you done about
government
that?
tools which your government also has. Anti-corruption department of Delhi government. If they do their duty, they are wrong. And it is the same Lieutenant Governor Delhi's office which had demanded a CBI probe, a ED probe. I would compliment the brave officers of the Enforcement Directorate,
All right.
the CBI
Okay.
and the Anti-Corruption Department for unearthing these facts which smack of
All right.
corruption by
Okay.
Aam
We have
Aadmi
no
Party.
We are running out of time.
for all
Jasmine
the
Shah, Jasmine Shah, I
illegalities
want to
in
come to
Gujarat
you
that is
for a
clear today.
response on what Alka Lamba also asked. She said if the Aam Aadmi Party has done nothing wrong and if it's all in the clear, then why is it that one of their ministers is in jail, Satyen Jain, the raids are on against another senior minister, Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. She's asking why then is the Aam Aadmi Party, that is known for also its street politics, is not out on the streets protesting?
No, absolutely not. This is a matter which is sub judice at this stage, and we know, and this has happened not for the first time. Let me remind the viewers again that 150 such cases, Aam Aadmi Party was not born yesterday. For the last 7 years, 150 such cases have been put against our leaders. Not one of them has stood the scrutiny of courts. Let me also remind your viewers that Mr. Satyendra Jain, in the case against Mr. Satyendra Jain, not even the charge sheet has been filed. Forget about conviction. So, yes, this is nothing but today a tool of harassment. Whoever is doing good work in the nation today, please send CBI and ED to them if they are opposition leaders. But if people are dying in Gujarat, people are dying in Uttar Pradesh, people are dying in Bihar, just because they are BJP governments, we will not allow any kind of an investigation. Not one person has been put behind bars.
Nonetheless, we will wait to see. We will wait to see what the CBI says, or we figure out details of what the CBI has managed to recover today, if anything at all, after raids that are being conducted in 21 locations across 7 states and union territories. Vijay Jolly and Jasmine Shah, both of you, thanks for joining us here on this discussion this morning. With that, we're taking a very quick break. We'll be back with a lot more. Stay with us. All right, the raids are on against Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi at the moment, and there are raids being conducted by the CBI at 21 locations across 7 states and union territories. Let's quickly go through what reactions we are getting at the moment. First of all, what Kapil Sibal has tweeted now with regards to these raids. This is what Kapil Sibal is saying in defense of, in some sense, the Aam Aadmi Party and Manish Sisodia, saying Sisodia raided by CBI, ED, the long arm of government. Now that Kejriwal is on the rise, time for BJP to destabilize. So target Satyen Jain, now Sisodia. There are several more reactions coming in, with the BJP also hitting out at the Aam Aadmi Party. Let's quickly listen in to what Ram Kadam is saying.
स्वर्णिम युग की ओर बढ़ता हुआ ये बदला हुआ भारत है। अब इस देश में राजा हो या रंक हो, नेता हो या अभिनेता हो, यदि दुष्कर्म करोगे तो तुम्हें दंड मिलेगा। ये कोई कांग्रेस का पुराना काल नहीं है जहां पर व्यक्ति विशेष देख करके कार्रवाई होती थी, बड़े लोगों को, नेताओं को छोड़ दिया जाता था क्योंकि वो नेता है। अब इस बदले हुए भारत में सबके लिए कानून समान है। गलत करोगे सजा मिलेगी।
The big story this morning, the residence of Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi is being raided by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Raids are underway at 21 locations in 7 states and union territories, including Manish Sisodia's official residence. The probe is into the alleged corruption into the new excise policy of the Delhi government. The Delhi Lieutenant Governor had sought the CBI investigation into the matter. Let's quickly listen in now to the Aam Aadmi Party reacting to the raids currently on. Sanjay Singh speaking.
ये साथ में और भी कई जगह हैं जहां पर कि एक साथ सीबीआई की टीम पहुंची है और तलाशी जारी है। क्या कहना है आपका?
देखिए, ऐसा है कि ये नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार का असली चेहरा देश के सामने करता है। ये घटना ये बताती है कि दिल्ली के शिक्षा मॉडल से, दिल्ली के स्वास्थ्य मॉडल से मोदी जी की सरकार और भारतीय जनता पार्टी परेशान है। आज जो कार्रवाई मनीष सिसोदिया जी के ऊपर हुई, ये पहली बार नहीं हमारे ऊपर छापा, सीबीआई का छापा, ईडी का छापा, कई बार हम लोगों के ऊपर छापे पड़ चुके। आपको याद होगा मुख्यमंत्री के दफ्तर पे सीबीआई का छापा पड़ा था, मनीष सिसोदिया के ऊपर पहले भी सीबीआई का छापा पड़ा था, सत्येंद्र जैन के ऊपर पहले भी सीबीआई का छापा पड़ा था। 40 विधायकों को पकड़ के जेल में डाला, एफआईआर की, बाद में उनको कोर्ट ने बरी किया। तो ये सुंगलू कमेटी एक बनाई थी, 400 फाइलों की जांच कराई, बाद में कह दिया कहीं कुछ नहीं निकला। तो ये बात साबित होती है कि किस तरीके से बदले की भावना से, दुर्भावना से आप कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं मनीष सिसोदिया के खिलाफ। मैं बताना चाहता हूं, मनीष सिसोदिया वो शिक्षा मंत्री हैं जिनके बारे में कल न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स, अमेरिका का अखबार, प्रथम पृष्ठ पे खबर छापता है उनके शिक्षा मॉडल के बारे में, उनकी शिक्षा क्रांति के बारे में, केजरीवाल के मॉडल के बारे में। तो दिल्ली की शिक्षा क्रांति की ख्याति पूरी दुनिया में फैल रही है। इस बात से ये लोग घबराए हुए हैं और इसलिए हमारे स्वास्थ्य मंत्री को जेल में रखा है, हमारे शिक्षा मंत्री के ऊपर सीबीआई का छापा पड़ रहा है। इनको भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ नहीं लड़ना है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी को केजरीवाल और विपक्ष के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करनी है। इनको भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करनी, इनको सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक दुर्भावना से विपक्ष के लोगों को, आम आदमी पार्टी को, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को परेशान करना है।
सर, जो पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा की आप बात कर रहे हैं, हमने खुद भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कई नेताओं से इस बारे में बात की, ये सवाल भी पूछा पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा को लेकर के। उनका ये कहना है कि एक्साइज पॉलिसी में गड़बड़ी थी, तभी तो एक्साइज जो लाइसेंस।
अच्छा, जो जहरीली शराब से मौत हुई 100 से ज्यादा लोगों की गुजरात में, उसमें कोई कार्रवाई किया भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने? नीरव मोदी 20,000 करोड़ लूट के भाग गया, ललित मोदी 3,000 करोड़ लूट के भाग गया, नितिन संदेशरा 6,000 करोड़ लूट के भाग गया, विजय माल्या 9,000 करोड़ लूट के भाग गया, एबीजी शिपयार्ड ने 23,000 करोड़ का घोटाला किया, 42,000 करोड़ का डीएचएफएल ने घोटाला किया, 29 करोड़ रुपए बीजेपी को चंदा दिया। इनके खिलाफ कोई जांच हुई आज तक? येदुरप्पा के खिलाफ कोई जांच हुई? कोई सजा हुई उसको? रेड्डी ब्रदर्स पे कोई सजा हुई? व्यापम घोटाले में कोई सजा हुई? पूरे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के भ्रष्टाचारी देश को लूट रहे हैं और पूंजीपतियों के साथ मिलकर मोदी जी की सरकार लूट रही है। उन पे कहीं का कभी कोई सुनते हैं कि कोई एक पुलिस की भी छोटी सी कार्रवाई हो जाए? तो ये बात बिल्कुल साफ तौर पे देश के लोग देख रहे हैं, समझ में आ रहा है सबको।
लेकिन सर, ये एक्साइज पॉलिसी जो है, इसको फिर कैंसिल।
अरे भाई, ये ऐसे 50 बार कर चुके हैं। आप याद कीजिए, ऐसे ही चिल्ला रहे थे जब राजेंद्र कुमार के ऊपर छापा मारा था, बहुत बड़ा घोटाला मिल गया, बहुत बड़ा भ्रष्टाचार मिल गया, इतने फ्लैट, इतनी कंपनियां, कहां गया? कुछ हुआ आज तक? तो इसलिए मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि इस पॉलिसी को लेकर कई बार मनीष सिसोदिया जी ने और हमारी पार्टी ने स्पष्ट रूप से कहा। अच्छा, यही पॉलिसी को लेकर बैजल पे रिकमेंड किया है सीबीआई जांच के लिए, बैजल के लिए चिट्ठी लिखा है मनीष सिसोदिया जी ने, छापा पड़ा बैजल के ऊपर। क्यों? क्योंकि उनके माध्यम से भाजपा नेताओं को दलाली मिली है, उन पे जांच नहीं होगी।
Let me go across to our guests now who are joining us on the show. Alok Vats of the BJP and Reena Gupta of the Aam Aadmi Party. Alok, what's coming first to you? We just heard Sanjay Singh there of the Aam Aadmi Party. He's saying this is not a raid against corruption. This is out of vendetta to break one of the strongest opposition parties, the Aam Aadmi Party. Is the AAP such a big challenger for the BJP now, especially in the states that are going to the polls in Gujarat and Himachal, that this is the way the BJP is trying to get after them?
Let me tell you, Maha, this is all false allegation. Sisodia made changes in the policy to give undue benefits to the licensees without informing the cabinet and taking the LG's approval. Then he had recommended this case to CBI, and also he made changes to the New Delhi excise policy 21-22. And he gave a waiver of 144.36 crores singularly to the liquor barons without taking approval of the cabinet or informing the LG. And this money laundering, which was done by Mr. Manish Sisodia, was used in election in Punjab.
Okay,
also,
let's take a response to that specific point from Reena Gupta. Reena Gupta, this money has been used in Punjab. That's the allegation from the BJP. Respond to that.
Maha, it is very clear that Bharatiya Janata Party and Modi ji, they are scared, they are rattled with the Aam Aadmi politics increasing graph, our increasing graph, the popularity of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And this is nothing but vendetta politics, Maha. And what they wanted to do in Delhi is they wanted to convert Delhi into a dry state so that their leaders could run business of illegal and spurious liquor like they are doing in Gujarat. This is what they wanted to do in Delhi, and their plan has failed. So that is the reason why now they are raiding our
But Reena Gupta, if the Aam Aadmi Party's policy was so foolproof, why did it withdraw it?
Yes,
yes,
Ma, let me
that is the point to consider.
Ma, give me the liberty of completing my chain of thought.
Sure, go ahead.
In the middle, right? So I can explain everything to you very well. The Delhi excise policy was recognized as a very transparent policy. You talk to any expert on excise, they will tell you it was a very good policy which was going to curb all the illegal and spurious liquor which was being sold in the outer areas of Delhi. The previous policy of Delhi was such that the liquor shops were concentrated only in certain parts of Delhi. And in certain parts of Delhi, there were no shops, so which was leading to a lot of illegal and spurious liquor, which was directly, being done by the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders. So Delhi government put a stop to all of that. The revenues were going to increase, and because of this, they got the LG to interfere. They started threatening the officers of Delhi government. So no officer was willing to sign on any file. As a result of that, all the shops in Delhi were going to close. Delhi was going to become a dry state had we not taken the policy back. So that is the reason we took the policy back, and we said that the government will open liquor shops because no private traders were ready to open shops. BJP was threatening even private traders कि तुम्हारे ऊपर ED रेड करवा देंगे, तुम्हारे ऊपर CBI रेड करवा देंगे. लोगों ने अपने लाइसेंस वापस कर दिए थे वहां. अब आप आलोक वर्मा जी से ये पूछिए कि गुजरात में जो इनका धंधा चल रहा है, जो इनका हर साल हजारों करोड़ का इलीगल लिकर जो गुजरात में चल रहा है, जो 10,000 करोड़ की ड्रग्स गुजरात में अभी बरामद हुई है, वो किसकी शय पे चल रहा है?
All right, let him answer those questions. Let him answer those questions, Reena Gupta. This is constantly being questioned, Alok Vats, by the Aam Aadmi Party, that why is a similar yardstick not being used in Gujarat? We have seen a case of spurious liquor in which several people died. Why is that not being investigated?
Who says that it is not being investigated? Thorough investigation is not being investigated. Thorough investigation is going on in both the cases.
किसके ऊपर रेड पड़ी बताइए?
Raid, when it comes to raid, आपके यहाँ भी रेड पड़ी है 3 महीने के बाद. When this thorough inquiry has been conducted, then the raid took place. So there also the investigation is on.
सालों साल से चल रहा है ये धंधा आपका इलीगल लिकर का. आपके जो गुजरात के भाजपा के अध्यक्ष हैं, उनके ऊपर आरोप है. उनके घर क्यों नहीं रेड पड़ी?
आरोप तो आप किसी के ऊपर लगा सकती हैं. आरोप लगाने से किसने रोका है?
आरोप लगा के आप विपक्ष के ऊपर रेड डलवा देंगे.
सिसोदिया जी के कहने पर जो सिसोदिया जी के कहने पर L1 लाइसेंसेस का पैसा रिफंड किया गया, वो किससे पूछ के किया गया था? और एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी में NOC जिनको नहीं मिला था, इन्होंने विदेशी शराब के कैलकुलेशन में रिमूव द लेवी ऑफ इम्पोर्ट बाय ₹50 पर केस. ये किससे था? 2 से ज्यादा दुकानें वार्ड में खोलने का रूल था, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा दुकानें खोलने की इजाजत दे दी. होर्डिंग और बोर्डिंग लगाने की इजाजत दे दी. और 2021 में
But Alok Vats, sir, I want to come in. I have a question. I want to come in. I have a question because Manish Sisodia, Manish Sisodia, sir, listen to me please. Manish Sisodia had said that the former LG, Anil Baijal, he should also be probed by the CBI because according to Manish Sisodia, he had given a go-ahead for the liquor policy and then at the very last minute had withdrawn consent. He is asking under whose pressure did he do that?
I'm not aware of it, what you are saying.
Reena Gupta, can you give us details on that? Because Manish Sisodia had said that this was the allegation leveled by him against the former Lieutenant Governor, wasn't it?
So, Maha, the former Lieutenant Governor, who was directly appointed by Mr. Amit Shah in Delhi, at the last minute, he changed the liquor policy. Just 48 hours before the policy was to be signed, he changed the policy and he added an additional condition in the policy. As a result of that, a lot of the licensees could not open the shops. Maha, it is very clear what Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to do. First of all, they are trying to convert Delhi into a dry state. As a result of this, what will happen, Maha? People will go to Gurgaon and Noida and they'll buy alcohol from there. This is exactly what is happening even today in Delhi. Because there is very limited alcohol supply in Delhi. Noida, Gurgaon, जहाँ इनकी सरकारें चलती हैं, जहाँ इनका illegal liquor की इनकी पूरी इनके सारे नेता उसमें involved हैं. तो चाहे illegal liquor हुआ, चाहे legal liquor हुआ, people are all going to neighboring states, and as a result of that, the revenue of Delhi will come down. So, I mean, it is so clear, Maha. Even media needs to see this. The media needs to come out with reports on why they are not taking any action in Gujarat. It is not
all right. So, we are running out of time,
Reena
Gupta. Let me give 30 seconds to Alok Vats to respond to those allegations you've made and then we'll wrap up this discussion. Alok Vats.
Let me tell you one thing. They should talk of what is happening now here, but they are trying to divert issues other places. Delhi Excise Department, without the LG's approval, extended the excise policy on pro-rate basis licensee fee to L1 and L7 V2 licenses. CBI and the
you
Chief
are
Secretary
lying, Mr. Vats. Nothing like this happened.
It was a prima facie case revealed violated under GNLTD. So what they have to say? And transaction of business rules, POBR, 1993, Delhi Excise.
All right. We'll have to wrap up this discussion. So Alok Vats is saying, talk about Delhi, but clearly the Aam Aadmi Party is saying, Alok Vats, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, sir, but we are really running out of time. The Aam Aadmi Party is saying this is not just about Delhi. Look at the larger picture. This is about Gujarat, about Himachal, the assembly elections there, and about 2024 as the Aam Aadmi Party is emerging as a strong opponent to the BJP, and therefore it is they believe that this is a manner in which they want to break the Aam Aadmi Party's back. Taking a very quick break at this juncture. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. But the big story at the moment that we're tracking is the CBI raid against the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. But the allegation by the Aam Aadmi Party is that this is not the BJP or the central government or the agencies after corruption. This is the BJP's means of breaking the back of the Aam Aadmi Party ahead of the crucial assembly elections where they are a formidable opponent for the BJP. Let me go across to Ghazali for more details and perspective on that. Ghazali, first of all, help us understand what are the stakes of the Aam Aadmi Party in both Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh, and who were the people leading the party's campaign from the front? Will this be impacting them?
See, as far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned, after the victory in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party was sniffing a chance in the hilly region, and first Satendra Jain was made the affairs in charge, or the pole affairs in charge, looking after the Aam Aadmi Party's affairs or organizational restructuring in Himachal Pradesh. Then he was put behind the bars. An ED case was registered against him. So it was Arvind Kejriwal and Mr. Manish Sisodia who had taken the campaign lead for Himachal Pradesh. And just a couple of days ago, Mr. Sisodia was here with Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann campaigning in Himachal Pradesh about the education policies, announcing the promises in the education sector if the party comes to power. Now, if Mr. Sisodia is also under the CBI scanner, and as we are hearing that a case has been registered over the excise policy or the faulty excise policy, then certainly it hits Aam Aadmi parties on two fronts. One, that they will have to heavily rely on Arvind Kejriwal to lead the campaign in both these states, as well as that entire honest image of the party will certainly take some beating in the poll-bound states of Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh. Now, another perspective to this entire CBI raid is that if you remember ahead of Punjab polls, ED had raided nephew of former Punjab Chief Minister, Mr. Charanjit Singh Channi. Now, back then, the Aam Aadmi Party, which was in opposition in Punjab, had supported those raids, had sort of raised questions over the cash which was recovered from Mr. Channi's nephew's residence. Now, today, after the CBI's raid, what we are hearing from the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab is that till now, CBI has not recovered any such thing from Manish Sisodia's residence. If you see this entire opposition unity thing, which always often comes up ahead of general Lok Sabha polls or any assembly polls, is that the ED case against the Gandhi family in Delhi, then you see no such protest from Aam Aadmi Party, vice versa from Congress. While Congress is supporting it, it appears that this is where, when it comes to ED raids, parties just save themselves, but when it comes to opposition parties, they back the raids.
All right. Ghazali, many thanks for getting us that perspective. So this is the big story that we will continue to track, the raid against Aam Aadmi Party leader and Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. These are pictures coming in from his residence on Mathura Road in Delhi, where the CBI officials are conducting a raid at the moment. We're taking a very quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.